Hi, I'm Jimbo Paris, and you are listening to The Jimbo Paris Show. All right, how's it going, everyone? Jimbo Paris here. Today we have Tai Goodwin, instructional designer, public speaker, marketing strategist. So a very interesting woman. She came out of Drexel University. So again, very, very interesting woman. So let's talk to her, see what she has to say.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So can you tell me a bit about yourself?
That is such a huge question. Let's see. I am a former teacher turned entrepreneur. And in between those two places, I spent some time in the dark side of corporate America. I love helping my clients get more visibility online. And so that's what we focus on in our business. I'm a bit of a digital nomad, a bit of a bookworm and a nerd. And I absolutely love what I do.
You use the term digital nomad. Could you kind of elaborate on what that is?
Yeah, well, last year I got to spend the whole year traveling every single month. So I was literally, taking my laptop, working from all kinds of different places. Had a home base in Florida, but I was everywhere from Dubai. I spent 23 days in Panama. I started this year off in Colombia for a few weeks. And I'm a little bit of a gypsy, I guess is another way to say it, where I'm going from place to place to place because I love having that freedom and being able to travel.
What made you decide on marketing?
That's a really good question. It's kind of what just came naturally to me. When I first started my business, I was a single mom and working a full-time job. And so, of course, the natural inclination is to start a business, while you're working a full-time job. And I didn't have the luxury of going out doing networking and, meeting people. So I turned to doing things online. And this is when things were just getting started. This was back in maybe 2006, 2007. And I got really good at networking online and using social media. And then I had people say, well, can you teach me how to do it? And so I started teaching people how to use Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. And then they finally just said, well, can you do it for me? And so I started doing it for people. And so that kind of led me to this sweet spot of what we do in our agency is where we'll either do it for you, like we'll manage all of your email and set up your funnels and do your social media marketing for you, or we'll teach you or somebody on your team how to do it. So it's the perfect combination of getting to take all the marketing strategy combined with the instructional design side that I have and put that into a business. And that's what you get with that marketing team.
And what type of skills do you need as sort of the CEO of a marketing industry?
Wow, you definitely need more skills than just being able to market. A lot of people, like I said this the other day, that the internet has made the barrier of entry into entrepreneurship very low because you have people that are literally thinking that if I have a Facebook page and I have some great photo shoots, I can go online and say I'm an entrepreneur. And what we've got is a lot of people who are solo business owners or freelancers, and they just want to get clients and they just want to do the work. When you're stepping into that role of being an entrepreneur and actually running a business as a CEO, you can't continue to be the practitioner. You can't continue to be the technician doing all the things hands-on. You've got to be building a team of people who can do that for you. You've got to learn to think strategically about how you're hiring, how you're building that team. And you've got to learn to differentiate between what you need to focus on right now to grow your company in the future and what you need to focus on to make sure that your team is actually taking care of the clients you currently have. So there's a lot of up-leveling of how you think about yourself, how you think about your company, and how you even think about the way that you're interacting with the people that you're bringing onto your team that you've got to do if you're stepping into that role of a CEO.
So what were the best actions that you personally took to get your business where it is today?
One of the best actions was investing bigger. For a long time, I'd been one of those people, let me get the $97 course and let me get, we see all those things online, right? The $27, the $97, and there's some merit to that. I mean, we've got lower ticket offers, for folks who are just starting out as well. But it wasn't until I invested in larger programs where I got to see people who were playing at a different level. The conversations were different. The way they thought about their business was different. The way they worked in their business was very different. And until I got to see that, it made it really hard for me to understand what it really meant to have a six-figure or even be building towards a seven-figure business. Because like I said, the conversations are different, the behaviors are different, the mindsets are different. So, but making that one shift by investing bigger and being in a different space with other people who had made that same kind of investment, that was a game changer for me in my business.
So, can you kind of describe a marketing team that you made in the past and sort of the formation of
hmm So, the when you say a marketing team, are you talking about for a corporate environment, or are you talking about for our business internally?
it for your business internal?
Yeah. So on the front end side of it, I've had an appointment setter and somebody who is actually doing sales calls, right? Because we've got to have something when people want to work with us. We've got to have people that are bringing in those leads and following up with those leads and closing those leads. And that's one side of it. On the back end of it, I've got an operations person, I've got a developer, and then I've got people that we outsource things to that are part of our team, but not always, because we don't always have the same projects, right? But we've got people that we can go and reach out to, kind of like white labeling services for when we need them for our clients. And that's allowed us to expand and grow. So our team is made up of many teams that actually get the work done.
And what do you mean by white labeling our services?
Yeah, there are companies out there that will do the work. Like, for example, we offer marketing strategy, and I do the upfront work by meeting with the client and getting all of the information. And then I actually turn that over to a company who will then build out the slides and do everything else that needs to be done to present that marketing strategy to the client. And so that means that we're white labeling their services. My client never sees the people that are on the back end of our team, right? So they're technically part of my team, but I don't hire all of that company. I'm just using the people in that company that can help and support what we're offering, what we're working on at that time.
And what is the most important thing to know as an SEO?
That it takes time. A lot of people think that if I just add some keywords to my site, I've done SEO. And no, you've added keywords to your site. SEO is something that takes time, and it's a progress. It's a process. So it's not just that you added pictures and you added alt tags and you added, keywords, long tail keywords, and those kinds of things. It's a process that you're going to want to track over time and manage over time. And so when people come to us and ask for SEO, they're thinking like it's just a one-time thing, and you put the keywords and then we're done. No, our SEO, it's a package where we're working with you for 3 to 6 months, because we've got to be paying attention to how the keywords change, what happens in the market, what's happening with other people in your niche, in your industry, and we want to make sure that we're optimizing things over time. So it's never just a one-shot deal. But people make that mistake and think that I just need to throw some keywords on my site and then I'm optimized for search engines, and that's not true.
So, what elements does a marketing campaign need to become successful?
A marketing campaign, in order for it to be successful, first of all, you have to understand what your goal is. When people come to me and they say they need marketing help, one of my first questions is, well, what are you trying to accomplish? Because if you're just trying to get visibility, which some brands need, right? Because nobody knows about you. If you're trying to get visibility, that's a separate goal for them, somebody who needs to work on conversion. So for example, we had a client that was an e-commerce based business, and they had 32,000 people on their email list. They didn't need visibility, right? They had visibility, but what they didn't have was conversions, right? And they didn't have conversions because they weren't segmenting the people on their list. They didn't know it was a hair care product business. They didn't know which kind of products the people were looking for. They didn't know the ages of those people. They didn't know anything about the people on their list. They just had a huge list of 32,000. So that's a very different marketing campaign, because on one hand, if they didn't have any visibility at all, we'd be trying to get them, to be seen and get them more visible. But if since they already had people, we needed to make sure they were able to segment that audience so they could get the right offers and the right content to those people in order to increase their conversions and sales. So it all goes back to, what are the goals of your marketing? What does your business need right now? I'll give you another example. As much as we love to build funnels and we love building quiz funnels for our clients, there are times when I tell people you don't need a funnel. And that might seem counterintuitive, but here's the deal. If you need clients right now, the worst thing you can do is spend 3 weeks trying to build a sales funnel to get clients. If you need clients like today, you need to pick up the phone and call every single person that you know and tell them what you do and ask them either for business or referral, because you need money and you need clients now. And I see people make that mistake often, where I want to build a website, I want to do this. Well, if you don't have any clients, you don't need a website just yet. Let's get you some clients. And there's some definite strategies that you can use that do not require you building a funnel, but you have to be willing to pick up the phone and hustle.
And how do you decide where to focus your attention, your efforts, and your overall budget?
It goes back to what your goal is. If you're taking a look at Q3 and in this quarter, you realize that you need to have more leads, right? And so we do this thing where we help people figure out what their numbers are, because marketing at the end of the day is a numbers game. And so how many leads do you need to be bringing in order to make sales? Right. So, for example, if on average, the conversion rate is 3% and you need 3 sales for this month, that means you have to at least be talking to 100 people or bringing in 100 people to get those 3 sales. Right. If you need 20 sales, if you need 15 sales or 30 sales, you've got to multiply that. So that means you need to bring in more leads. So if you're not getting enough leads in every single month, then that's what you focus on. If you're getting those leads in, but you're not following up with any people, like you don't have a follow-up system in place, nobody's calling the people that have already said yes, you're not doing any email, then that's what you need to focus on. So maybe you need to hire a team like ours to help you with your email marketing and setting up your automation. Right? If you've got your automation in place, but you're not getting any conversions in sales, you may need to bring in somebody from our team that can help you optimize your conversion rate. So your budget and what you focus on depends on what's the biggest need in your business right now. And the other question you can ask is, where are you trying to get to in the next 6 to 12 months? Because that's the other thing with marketing that folks don't get, is that what's happening in your business right now is a result of the marketing that you did 30, 60, 90 days ago. Right? Because bringing in those leads 30 days ago, now you can start seeing some results. 60 days ago, you can start seeing some results. But it's very rare that somebody comes into your ecosystem right now and makes a sale today. Most people do not buy after the first time they see your content or they see your viral post or they see something that you've done. There's a sales process. There's a sales cycle that people go to. There's different phases of that. And so if you're only counting on somebody to see your post today and then make a sale, you're going to be disappointed. And we see that with a lot of folks because they magically think that I posted something on Facebook or I posted something on Instagram or I did something on YouTube and now I'm going to get a sale from it tomorrow. And that can happen for some people. It doesn't happen for most people because there's a whole sales cycle that people go to before they make a buy decision.
All right. Okay. Well said. So okay. So after hearing all that, I'm curious though, how do you measure a company's success through, well, initially from a people's perspective?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's about setting expectations and educating. A lot of people like marketing is our first language, right? This is what we do. But for a lot of my clients, they will come in sometimes with expectations, okay, well, I want to launch a quiz and I want it to be done in 4 days and I want it to have this. And, I'm like, well, do you understand what you need to have in the background to make that work? And they're like, no, I don't understand. Right. And so a lot of it is setting expectations and helping people understand that you have to put the process in place in order to hit the real metrics. I'll give you an example. We had a client and we were doing Facebook ads for them to drive people to a webinar that they were doing. And we were getting like 300 people a week to come to register for their webinar. And they were excited about that because they were like, yes, we're getting all these people to register for my webinar. Yes, success. I'm like, no, because now that these people have registered for your webinar, you need to have a person in place to actually follow up. Because what we know is that just because someone signs up for a webinar doesn't mean they're going to show up and it doesn't mean they're going to take action. And so what you want to have in place is you want to have somebody you want to have the automated emails and automated warm up to get them to show up for the event. But then you're also going to want to have somebody that's physically calling those people to remind them, to book a call with them, to follow up after the event. And so you could have all those 300 people signing up every week, but if you don't have that follow-up in place, you're not going to get the numbers. And they didn't understand that. And sure enough, when I said you need to hire somebody to call, they actually hired a customer support person, and the customer support person had no idea how to do anything with sales. So there was a misalignment there because the customer support person is asking these customer service questions instead of taking a sales approach, right? And they needed that sales approach. They needed somebody that was going to come on and say, we want to make sure you got the replay. When do you want to schedule a call? When are you going to be ready to move forward? Like somebody was going to take that approach and follow up instead of, oh, I just want to make sure that you saw the video. Like that's a completely different approach. And to them, it was successful because they were getting the webinar leads. To us, I didn't just want them to have leads. I wanted them to get sales. And so we had to do a lot of education to help them understand this is what it takes to get sales, not just get people to show up or to register for your webinar, but you actually want sales at the end of the day. And then here's who you need to have on your team to make that happen.
Oh, that's interesting. So the problem was they were basically making the lemons, but they weren't making the lemonade.
I love the way you said that. Absolutely.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on rewarding success?
Rewarding success for myself or for my clients, or who am I rewarding?
I would say more so from yourself.
I have learned that I do have to take time to celebrate and acknowledge the work that we do and the wins that we get, no matter how small. We have some group programs that we do with our clients, and every time we do, and even in my own team meetings, we always start off with what wins and progress have you made since the last time we connected? Because I think it's important to recognize that. I used to be in that space where, you get to something where you accomplish something and then you just go on to the next thing. You go on to the next thing and you don't take the time to smell the roses, so to speak. You don't take the time to sit back and think about, or just revel in that feeling of accomplishment. And I think that's a big mistake that a lot of us make. We're so primed to just keep going and going and going. What's the next thing, next thing, next thing? We always have to take that time to acknowledge the accomplishment, acknowledge the hard work that we put in, and celebrate. I think that's really important.
And since starting your business, what do you think is overall the biggest thing that you've learned?
The biggest thing that I've learned, my business can only grow to the levels that I'm willing to grow myself. A lot of times when people get stuck in their business, they attribute it to the outside forces. Oh, it's the economy. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's, clients that don't want to do this. And, we can tell that narrative, we can tell that story, or we can realize that the biggest obstacle to growing in any area, whether it's business or life, is usually us. And had I learned that sooner, I would have gotten a lot further, a lot faster. But I'm grateful that I did recognize that my business can only grow to the level I'm willing to grow, and to do the work to become what I need to be so I can elevate to the next level.
And that's a reoccurring theme in almost every single person I've interviewed on this show. It's about taking responsibility for your own life so that you can sort of improve yourself. And again, that's a tough thing to do, especially as a single mom with a business and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough thing to do, but honestly, that's what life is. That life is, I came to that realization. I went to a conference maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. And one of the most powerful things that I picked up from that is that my only obligation, and I think this is true for all of us, our biggest obligation is to become the highest versions of ourselves. That's it. Because if we're willing to commit to that and doing that work, just imagine what that means, right? It's taking ownership and it's taking accountability. And as I become the highest version of myself, everybody that's connected to me is benefited.
Okay. And I'm curious too, what do you like to do outside of just work?
I love books. I am a bookaholic. I mean, I hate going to malls. Like, I'm not a shopper. But you take me to a bookstore and you will be like my best friend. Like, I love books. I love music. I love the sun, which is why I'm, moved to Florida in the last couple of years, because I love being in the sun, and I like traveling. Those are things that I do outside. And I guess one of my other things that I really love to do is I love like those puzzles, those 1,000-piece puzzles that drive most people crazy. Like, I absolutely love doing those. And it's the introvert in me that just likes that downtime, that quiet time, that time to reflect, and that time to let my brain work on something. But I really enjoy that.
And can you tell us a little bit more about, your company's core value and services?
Yeah, well, our core values, one of our core values is dignity. It's really, really important for us to treat other people with dignity, to be treated with dignity, and to foster that in how we build our team internally. Another core value is growth. And so for everybody that's on my team, I'm always looking for opportunities for them to grow, opportunities for how do you want to grow next? What other skill do you want to learn? After spending about 20 years in corporate America, that was one of the things I hated the most, was that it's very exploitative, right? It's, you're going to do this for us, and whether we give you anything, is we're just going to give you a paycheck and that's enough. And I don't think that paychecks are enough. I think that paychecks are a part of it, but it's also up to us as leaders in a company to actually grow people. Right. And so that's really important. And so dignity is a core value. Growth is a core value. And another core value is communication, right? How do we talk and how do we engage? And that ties into my love of words, right? But how do we communicate? How do we talk to each other? How do we talk about our clients? How do we talk with our clients? We want to make sure that's always at the top of our list. And the final one I would say is integrity. I'm a big believer in, I practice what I teach. In the marketing space, there's a lot of companies that will talk a whole bunch of hype, 6 figures in 6 hours, 6 days. There's a lot of that messaging out there. And I absolutely hate that messaging. I hate fluff. I hate people that are putting on airs and they're going to show you a picture of this lush thing that they're doing, but on the back end, they really don't know what they're doing. Or what we see is a lot of people who will promise they can do something, but they've only ever seen it done on YouTube because they've never actually done it themselves. So integrity for us looks like practicing what we teach. Like, for example, one of the services we started offering our clients is to get them booked on podcasts. But we didn't do that until for the last 6 months. My team has been booking me on podcasts like your show, right? But I've been booked on 3 podcasts a month for the last 6 months, and we've got that system down. So now that we've got that system down, now we're able to offer it to our clients. And so that's something that's really important to us, is being able to have integrity about what we do, not just because we read about it somewhere, but because we've done it. And that leads to our services. Yes, we book our clients on podcasts. We also do lead generation funnels for our clients. We're known for building quiz funnels, which we absolutely love. And so the quiz funnels, the podcast booking services, and then we do marketing strategy, because a lot of our clients, they've got a team of people, but their team doesn't always know what to do because they don't have a strategy in place. They've got tactics, right? So they've got people that are going to post on social media, or somebody that's going to do my TikTok, or somebody, they've got that. But when I ask them, well, why are you doing it that way? They have no idea, because there's no strategy in place. So we'll come in and we'll help you with the strategy. If you need our team to actually implement it, great. If it's your team, fantastic. But we're always going to start with that strategy first.
Now, was that integrity always something that was present in your business, or was that something you needed to learn about and build? Or do you think that was more of a natural aspect of maybe who you were as a person, and that sort of just spread across to the nature of your business?
It was a natural aspect of who I am. At one point, this is my second iteration, Jimbo, in business. I was a full-time entrepreneur, and then I went back to a day job. And one of the reasons I went back to a day job was because I felt at the time, everybody was out there promising, I can show you how to get to 6 figures in 6 weeks. And if you weren't making that kind of promise, people weren't coming to you, right? They wanted that fast track. They wanted that microwave effect. And I couldn't honestly do that. Right? I couldn't honestly say, okay, if you come to me with nothing, at the end of 6 weeks, I'm going to show you how to get to 6 figures. And actually, I had been in programs that were like that, right? I've been in these programs where they're making these huge promises, and I'm watching person after person struggle because the tech stuff that they needed to do to, get their marketing in order wasn't there. They weren't really clear. They didn't have the confidence. There were so many factors. And because I didn't want to make that claim, I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't want to be that person. And that was about integrity. Like, I'm not going to promise you something in order to get your attention only on the back end to not be able to deliver that. And so now, like, one of our promises is that we'll, and we do have promises. We have what we call our brand promise, is that we can help our clients generate 300 leads in 30 days. And people say, well, you shouldn't promise that, because I'm like, no, I can, because I've done it not just for myself, but I've done it for clients, and I've got the receipts to prove that. So I'm confident in saying that if we put your system in place and we follow these steps, we can bring you 300 leads in 30 days. And I have no qualms about that, simply because, like I said, we practice what we teach.
And what other aspects besides the integrity and, again, the assurance that you give to your clients that kind of help you stand out from other marketing agencies, SEO agencies, those types of things?
It's the relationships, that we look to build with our clients. A lot of agencies, they base their business on churn, right? They expect people to only stay with them for 3 months and then leave. And so that's why they're constantly trying to pull in more and more people, because they expect that churn rate to happen. I'm looking for people, when we take them on as clients, that we're going to co-create with and we're going to be partners with. I want to be partners in their success. I want to sow into them, and I want to sow into their vision for their business. So we're not looking for clients who are going to leave after 3 months and go on to the next company that's going to make a huge promise, because that's what happens, right? These companies make these huge promises and they can't deliver. And so the clients go into somebody else who's making another huge promise, and then they can't deliver. And that's why you see so much churn in the agency space. I'm looking for people who we can take on a project with you long term, and we can co-create. And I think that's something that makes us stand out, because we're not looking to slash and burn. We're really looking to build something with you. We want to sow into the people that come into our space, and we want to co-create rather than just, churn people out at the end of the day.
And what's the future of your business? Where's Tai Goodwin going to go in the next few years? Will anything really change with the business? Any new businesses, maybe a new podcast? What's the plan?
You're reading my mind, Jimbo. Absolutely. So the goal is to build this to a 7-figure company. I want to build a 7-figure agency. I want to be able to sell that agency. And then, our goal is to, our retirement plan, so to speak, is we're going to open a bookshop / bed and breakfast. And I've had that dream for a number of years. Like I said, I'm a book geek, love books, and I can't think of anything more exciting than to spend my time doing that. And so one of the things that we're launching later this year is something called Booked on a Podcast, which is me interviewing authors, right, about their books. And that's kind of leading us up to, stepping into our space of having our own bookstore / bed and breakfast.
And what advice could you give to the audience here or any startup businesses?
Do the work of learning how to market. Like I said, the internet has made the barrier of entry into the entrepreneurship space very, very easy. But where people stumble is because they've never learned how to market. Marketing and sales, they're both skills that anybody can learn. And just because somebody can post something on Facebook or Instagram, or somebody can even, put a podcast together, that doesn't mean that makes you an expert at marketing your business. And so you've got to learn, what does it take to market? Like, what does it really mean? And you have to do the unsexy work, right? And by that, I mean, you've got to do the research. A lot of folks, I was on a call the other day with some folks, and they were like, well, how do I figure out who my target audience is? And those questions, because when we talk about your target audience, it's not just, I work with women over 40 who want to lose weight, or I work with women under 30, who want to become moms. Like, it's not just that simple. There's about 20 or so questions that you really want to answer in order to have an understanding of who your ideal client is. And somebody in the group said, well, how am I supposed to get that information? And you want to know what my answer was, Jimbo? Talk to them. Right? It's the simplest thing. If you're not sure about, what your ideal audience is, what their pet peeves are, who they listen to, where they spend their time, talk to them. Actually have a conversation with the people you actually want to become your clients. And a lot of people don't want to do that because they're not comfortable with it. But here's what happens. You work 5 times harder rather than just picking up the phone and having conversations with people and getting the information you need to become better at marketing.
All right. Excellent. So this has been an amazing interview. I definitely enjoyed it. Just so I could kind of help everyone out here, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, the fastest way to reach out to me is through social media. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Tai Goodwin. That's all you need to search. Or if you're on Facebook, we have a group called Marketing for Non-Marketers. So it's specifically toward those folks who marketing is not your first language. Come into the community. We've got a lot of great content there. And we go live in that group and do trainings for people so that they can understand how marketing works, and then they can feel confident with the choices they're making about their own marketing, because they're operating from a place of knowledge and not a place of confusion.
All right. Well, again, thank you for being on the show, Tai. This is the Jimbo Paris Show. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm currently working on a passion project that I'm really excited about, but I need your help to bring it to life. We'll be launching soon our very own Jimbo Paris Academy. This is going to be about aspiring creators and creating concepts. Thank you for your support. I'm sharing free bonus content to supporters. So let's make some amazing content together. Our affiliate partner, LifeWork Systems, focused on helping create a better collegial environment, looking at the mental health of business workers, business employees, and overall bringing the business up. Thank you for listening to the Jimbo Paris Show.